Hi, everybody. It is week 3 of A Radiant Life, and this week's topic is body acceptance. As I've said before, I've always been fat, with the exception of the first 2 years of my life. My early childhood years through junior high was an absolute living hell. I was in daycare from by the time I was 3, and that's when it all started, my hatred for my own body. I accepted that since I was fat, that that's the reason that none of the other girls wanted to be my friends, and that they had the right to treat me like dirt because I was fat. I reverted back into myself, and I was very scared of people, and I would have rather stayed in my imagination than to have actually dealt with the other kids. I moved around a lot when I was younger, and I went to a new school when I was in the 5th grade. Every day that I went to school, at that school, I was tormented beyond belief. And no child should have to go through that, ever, for no reason. I switched schools again for another 3 years. And through that time, there was a tremendous amount of emotional stress that I went through. I moved again when I was 16 to Alabama, where I reached my highest weight of 385 pounds. I wasn't teased though, luckily, in high school. I was basically invisible unless I had a class with you, and I had no problem with that. I hated myself. I wouldn't look at myself when in the mirror when I got out of the shower. I would actually put a towel over the mirror just so I wouldn't have to look at myself. I wore baggy clothes to hide myself, and I didn't want people looking at me. My body acceptance started with a haircut. As funny as that may sound, I went from having hair down to my ass to having a bob around my ears. To me, it was insanely drastic. And that's really when I started to reevaluate how I saw myself. I started to feel sexy. I started to get the slightest hint of an ego, and I started to come out of the shell that I had built for so many years. I started talking to people. I started to get involved. I started to want to go shopping and get things that actually fit my body. I wanted to feel good. I wanted to live my life, and I wanted to be happy with who I was and with everything that I had. Inch by inch and pound by pound, I started to love myself. I stand in front of the mirror every day, naked. And I do this to this day. I look, I turn around, I feel, I poke, I prod, I look at everything that I have. And I honestly cannot find one thing negative to say about it at all. I give myself positive reinforcement. Your body is your own. You alone can claim it. You must first learn to love yourself and to love and respect your body no matter what size you are. Because happiness is worth too much to go and be miserable because of what other people think about your body. It's not something that happens overnight. It's a process. But it's completely worth your happiness to go through with it. Because there is no point in being miserable every day. Another thing that I had to do was I had to forgive the people in my past that ruined my childhood. And that was very, very hard for me. But I did it. And after I did that, it was like there was nothing standing in my way. I had to forgive myself for not loving me enough to start the process sooner. I had to forgive myself for letting my body define who I was and how I acted. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's completely worth it. Today, I weigh 283 pounds. I am curvy. I love what I see when I look in the mirror. I walk by something reflective. I'm confident. I'm a bit cocky. But most of all, I love myself. I truly love myself. And I'm speaking to you directly, to whoever it is watching this video. You are worth your own happiness. And you can get it. All you have to do is accept yourself and love yourself.